The projects that we work on, we are primarily mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection engineers. We also have civil and structural in our Johnstown office. We have an office in Pittsburgh, an office in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, an office in Youngstown, Ohio, and we have a couple people in St. Louis. We do commercial and institutional projects, so we do lots of hospitals, higher ed, and commercial projects primarily. We do a lot of colleges. We've done work at Penn State. We've done work at both the main campus and the branch campuses. The projects that I like to work on are, I think the hospital jobs, because for engineers, the hospital jobs are have a lot of engineering involved with them. They're more detailed than sort of some of the standard office building. One of the favorite projects that we've worked on is the Phipps Center for Sustainable Landscape Design. That is a LEED Platinum building. It is also going to receive a Living Building Challenge designation, which is one of the few buildings in the United States that has that designation. I think it's the largest building in the United States that has that. So for the Phipps Conservatory in Pittsburgh, the flower showcase, this is an office building and educational facility that is that used a number of sustainable concepts that haven't been put all together in a building before. They've got tubes under the building that circulate air to cool it sort of naturally with natural ventilation. It's a net zero building, so they produce all of their own power. They use all the water that falls onto the site. They have rain gardens. It's really quite an interesting project, and there have been a number of books written about it. There's actually a PBS special on how to design sustainable buildings that they filmed while we were designing that building. So that was pretty interesting. Challenging projects are projects that have either a short time frame to design them or a very tight budget. In today's building environment, all the owners want the buildings as inexpensive as they can be, and with the technology that we utilize with the CAD systems and emails and all, it seems that they want things very, very quickly. We have a project now where we're renovating the Union Trust building in Pittsburgh. It's an old 1917 building. It's a great example of the architecture of the time, but it's got to be done extremely quickly and within a very tight time frame. So that's a challenging project. The things I think I like most and least about engineering, one of the hardest things, least, is trying to make sure that we get paid for our services. We do a lot of work for people, and sometimes if they change their mind and it causes us more time on a project, it's tough for us to get paid sometimes. They didn't get value out of the third and fourth and fifth iteration of the design, so they say, well, why should we pay you for that? So that's a little frustrating, and we like to be considered as part of a team for projects, but sometimes engineering is considered a commodity, like one firm is the same as the other, and we think that the value that good engineering brings to a project is more than just a commodity, like that we're the same as everybody else. So that can be a little frustrating. The thing I like most is working with the people and getting to see different projects. We travel all over the United States and doing jobs, but most of all I like working with the different people and then actually designing and seeing the designs that we put together built. So, you know, as we drive around Pittsburgh particularly, we can see examples of projects that we work on and I sort of like that. A typical work day for me, since I've moved up through the company, I don't do an awful lot of engineering anymore. Most of what I do is actually business. So it's writing proposals for projects, looking at the financial performance of the jobs, talking to clients, doing business development, looking for new projects. I do engineering sort of on a conceptual level when projects are getting started, but then most of the time after they're actually in production for the drawings, it goes to the project managers and the individual engineers that are working on the job. So a typical day, I keep a to-do list, and it's normally got 25 or so items on it, people that I need to talk to, or letters that I need to write, or situations that I have to address. What opportunities did the Penn State degree provide? I always knew that this is what I wanted to do. I was fortunate that I hooked up with a large consulting engineering firm right out of school, Flack & Kurtz, where I got to go to their different offices, and I worked for them for 12 years before I came back to Pittsburgh. So I really only had two employers since I left school. But it's for engineering, especially now, it's important to have a degree. It's important to pursue the professional engineering license. Even though that doesn't necessarily, having the license doesn't make you any smarter, it's recognition that you've gone through the process and that that you're a professional engineer is very important for what we do. And advice for students currently studying engineering: we need people that can communicate well. We need people that can write letters well, explain their ideas. A lot of what we do is somewhat abstract when you're talking about engineering concepts and designs, and I think it's important that people be able to sort of defend or explain why they did things the way they did. And people need to be able to write good letters, write good reports. So the communications aspect of engineering is really, really important, and I think that should be stressed to people. And the biggest advice for somebody coming out of engineering school is you need to be practical, and you need to think about your value to the company. The thing that makes that helps people to advance is using your brain and looking at different ways of doing things, sort of putting what the company is trying to do first, and figuring good ways to do things. Now, when you first come out of school, it's tough because you don't have experience in what your chosen field is, and wherever you go to work, you're going to need to learn an awful lot. But stay involved and keep learning. Learn as you start your new jobs, and as you go through, make sure that you're looking to provide value to the company that you're working for. I think that's the biggest advice that I could give to new students in engineering that are just starting their careers.